What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about the two biggest problems that I believe remain in Predator Hunting Grounds. Now, we've had a lot of positive videos about this game. We've had some negative videos, right? We've had tough love about this game. All we want is and I think it's important to say that for a video like this, all we want is a really good game. That's it. We just want to have fun. We want this game to be enjoyable. And you know what? For what it's worth, this game is a very, very fun game. Are there still a lot of problems? Yeah. Is there things they need to fix? Is there things they need to add? Absolutely. And I was debating on how to do this kind of video. So basically, I have had three ideas. One of them being a single player, which I've seen a lot of you guys ask me to make a video about, and also just say, like, they need to do an offline mode. I'm going to do that. That's probably going to be the next video I make on this channel, so make sure you guys are looking out for that. Also, my second channel, I always leave it in the description. We're still talking about Predator there, and we also talk about just gaming in general. And again, this is a game that I want to support. I want to make videos of long term. I want them to talk about stuff when they do the DLC roadmap. If it happened over the last couple of days, I'm actually in the process of moving right now, so I won't be able to cover it like up to the minute, but I will talk about the future of Predator when we actually get it, but that's an aside. All right, single player, separate. That's definitely something that is a problem they need to fix, and we've talked about things like that too, right? I think one of the two major problems of this game is people fighting each other over, is the Predator underpowered, overpowered? Is the fire team overpowered, underpowered? I see this and I'm just one channel. I know there's other channels that cover Predator Hunting Grounds. I don't know how many others do. I don't watch any of the videos, but I can tell you specifically from what I have seen, every single video, there's always comments saying Predator is too powerful. Predator isn't powerful enough. The fire team is way too powerful. And here's what I'll say too. A lot of you guys too, a lot of these videos are like, what could they change? What could they add? You guys are giving amazing suggestions, right? You guys are giving like really, really cool things that they could fix in this game, that they could add to this game, all that kind of stuff. You guys are doing a really awesome job. But in those discussions, we tend to find people that say, hey, Predator, you need to buff the Predator, you need to nuke the Predator, and same thing with the fire team. And here's what I'll say about that. Here's what I'll honestly say. I don't play that many multiplayer games. I've talked about how I feel about Predator in general, that I kind of wanted this game to be a game that I could always go back to, that I could have as, I have a couple multiplayer games on my PlayStation, and when, maybe one night I just want to let off some steam, or I want to play a multiplayer game, I have a game for that, right? I could play Rocket League, I could play Predator, I could play Doom Eternal's Battle Mode, right? There's a couple games, right? I'm obviously playing it every single day now, but as time goes on, other games release, you move on from things too, but I want this game to stick around, and so I want to keep playing it, right? So I've talked about how I really don't play all that many multiplayer games. I'm mainly a single-player guy, but I feel like that argument is normally made for anything, and by the way, I'm not discrediting any of you guys that are saying those things, because I believe that you're probably right. I honestly feel like both sides are right, but what I'll say is it's really tough to grasp who's more right, who has more of a backing, and what IllFonic, the developer, what they should do about it. Because I do agree at times when I'm playing. All I can ever do is read your guys' comments and say, all right, well, here's how I feel about that, right? I'll tell you, when I'm playing this game, you basically get into two different groups, and I've talked about that, right? When you're the fire team, when you're the Predator, you can really get split up into two different ways of playing. You're either going to have a really good fire team with you when you're playing as a fire team, and it's going to be really, really great. And I guess there's also more variations, because you're going to have a really good fire team. Maybe you'll have a really good Predator, and then it'll be probably an even match. You'll have a really good fire team. You'll have a terrible Predator. You'll eliminate him within the first 5 minutes, right? Short match. It'll have its fun, but really it ended too soon. Or you'll have a terrible fire team, and you'll have a terrible Predator. Or you'll have a terrible fire team, and you'll have a really good Predator. And the same thing, I mean, there's only 4 combinations you can have, right? In all, I listed them all. And that's the same thing for the Predator. You can have a good Predator, bad fire team, bad Predator, good fire team. That's all you can really have, right? When you're playing as the Predator. And I get both sides. I feel like when I'm playing the Predator, sometimes I feel that the fire team is just darn too good, right? They spot me, they have spotting, they spot me the entire match. I literally get into a tree, or even I'm on the ground or whatever, and all of a sudden I'm spotted, and then the rest of the game becomes them hunting me and them setting up a perimeter against me where I can't even get within 50 feet of them, or I'm toast, right? You can have those matches. Other times, though, and it often happens when I'm the fire team, you see everybody just split off into their own, people are on like completely other sides of the map all alone, and then the Predator annihilates them. I never get those kind of fire teams when I play as the Predator. My Predator, I always get like pretty strategic fire teams. I never face it where like it's just easy eliminations, right? I never get to that point. But you know what I mean? You'll have that happen. But even what I just said, that kind of defends not changing all that much, right? Because sometimes you do have a good fire team. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you wish you had a bad fire team when you were the Predator, and then you don't. You have a good fire team facing off against you, but then when you're a fire team, then all of a sudden you'll just have a terrible group of players, right? It's really tough. It's honestly very, very tough, and I think... Like, again, I'm not discrediting you guys because ultimately I agree. I think this is a major problem of the game and something that may end up haunting it for a very, very long time. People believe this, and I'm not saying like, oh my God, you shouldn't believe this. Like, this is a conspiracy. No, people believe this because they live it. They're playing this game and they're experiencing these things for themselves, and they're saying, hey, you know what? In these matches, I feel like I'm super weak as a Predator. But at the same time, you do have people that are good. Like if you watch cartoons, anybody watch cartoons? He's really good, and he plays a different style, and maybe if you play like him, maybe it'll be better. Also, though, you can make the argument, I've watched him play all his matches. I love cartoons is one of my favorite guys to watch, just in general, not just for Predator. He normally, in some of these clips, the fire team's awful. Sometimes they're literally just in no man's land, and they're easy eliminations. Again, we never get that. So it's hard to say, well, maybe he's just so much better than us. Maybe we have to play it like him. But then he also sometimes faces off against bad teams, and so it makes it look easy, right? So again, I think that is tough, and it's always a balance, and it's something that every game I feel like has this. If you have two sides of something in a game, in a multiplayer, even if they're literally even matched, even if it's like a team deathmatch, right? You still wonder, like, okay, does this gun do too much damage? Does this do too much damage? Is this ability too powerful? Stuff like that. Every game has that, but for a game like this, it's very important to find the right balance, because of course you want the Predator to be really, really powerful, and I see it. If you guys go online and you look online, at least I've done this a couple of days ago. I'm recording this a little bit earlier than you guys are seeing it, but if you go online, there's a ton of articles saying like one of the biggest problems that like the reviewers, the gaming journalists are finding is like the Predator is way too weak. He needs to be more powerful. He's not as powerful as they all thought he would be. And again, is that true? Because I could say that, but then I will get comments from you guys saying, well, you use the Berserker, you use these set of perks, you do this, you do that, and all of a sudden, you're almost unstoppable. And then do they nuke that? Do they make that less powerful? These people complain, or do they, it's the petition to get the Assault class, or like the Hunter, it's Hunter for Predator, right? To get the Hunter class to have that same amount of health. You know what I mean? There's a push and pull on both sides, and it's reasonable, it's expected, and I just feel like at the end of the day, it's going to cause a problem, I feel like, in this Predator Hunting Grounds community. We all want it to be good. Ultimately, we want, again, we want the fire team to feel like they can hold their own. But then again, there's a debate. Like, do we want the fire team to be so powerful that they are hunting the Predator, or do we want them to be just powerful enough to like just scrape by? Because I've seen a lot of people say, should the fire team, should escaping be like very, very difficult, like next to impossible? Like if you escape, that's like, oh my God, you pulled off a miracle. Do we want that? Because I know, like in my case, I do escape from the chopper quite often. Probably the majority of times you escape from the chopper or with the chopper. But then if all of a sudden you don't do that, do you, like, you know what I mean? Where's the balance there? Do you feel like it's balanced enough? I think we all need to kind of just come under one roof and say, what do we want? Do we want the Predator to be so powerful that it's next to impossible, but it is possible? Or do we want a more balanced effort where the fire team can sometimes become the hunter, right? And the Predator is the hunted. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. That's the first one. Second one is a lot shorter because it's just a smaller thing, but it is a little worrisome. Now, again, I'm recording this on Thursday, so this could be fixed. This could have been talked about by the time, but also, again, I'm moving in a couple of days, so I'm not going to be able to record videos when I'm driving a truck, so all that kind of stuff. Here's what I'll say about this second thing. The cross-platform, playing on PC with PlayStation 4, and the invites, right? They promised that was going to be in the game. It's not in the game. People are getting very, very mad. People have told me in the comments that they're just not responding to any of that feedback on Twitter, on any of their social medias. That's a negative. That's a big negative. I'll tell you this, I don't know that many people that have it on PC, so I don't think it affects me all that much. At the same time, here's what I'll also say, we have this community, and you guys have friended me multiple times. Many people have friended me on PlayStation, right? I'm sure we'd be able to play with even more people. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys watching that are playing on PC, right? But you can't play with me because I'm on PS4. I mean, maybe we get matched up in a match like on accident, but you can't, you can't actually invite me. And there are a couple people like Sonic, if he's watching. There's a couple people that have been like with the channel for a very long time, like for years and years, and they're getting the game, and so I would like to be able to play with some of them too, like specifically. So that's an issue. It's a bigger issue that they're not answering, that it's and also that it was something that when the trial happened, cross-play worked. Did it slow things down? Did it prevent certain things? Like, we don't know. It seemed like sometimes if you had cross-play turned on, it would take longer to find a match, but was that kind of debunked? I don't know. There were some problems with it, but one of the things was, the cross-invite thing was still going to work. It was going to be in the base game. Here we are, and you know what? Even if this happens tomorrow or whatever day, or yesterday, even if it happens, when I'm in between recording this and it coming out, it's still not good enough if you think about it, because if they promised a day one, even the day I'm recording this is day 6 full days that the game has been out, and it's not there. It's nowhere to be found. That's a big problem. Is it the biggest problem in the world? No, but there are people that want to play it PC to PS4, and I'm sure, while I don't have like a friend, like a literal person, like a childhood friend of mine or something that literally has it on PC. Again, even my situation, I have you guys as the community, and there's people out there that maybe want to play with me, or I maybe want to play with them, and we can't do it. And then imagine if you have a PlayStation and somebody else has a PC, like your close friend, and you were both going to get this game to play with each other, and now you can't. Now you're just hoping that you get matched up together, but you can't invite them. That's a big deal. That's honestly actually a very, very big deal. And another thing is, if this eventually comes to other systems, which we could talk about as well in a different video, if this comes to other systems, I mean, crossplay becomes a really cool thing, right? Playing it against people on the Xbox One, playing maybe the Switch, but I honestly don't know. But at least Xbox, right? That would be a really cool thing. Crossplay is a really awesome thing. But if it doesn't work, if you can't invite the people, then you're just randomly going to play with an Xbox person, but you wouldn't have actually invited them, right? So it's an interesting thing. Again, both of these things are things that could haunt the game long term if they're not addressed. And obviously, like I've said in the beginning of the video, there's obviously other things that need to be fixed, need to be patched, need to be updated, all that kind of stuff. There's other things, but these two things, especially that first one, really have resonated with me. I've seen where you guys are coming from, and I wanted to address it in a video. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? What are some of the biggest issues with this game still that you think? What are the things they need to fix? All that kind of stuff. Like I said, there'll be more videos. I want to talk about single player. We'll talk about it coming to other systems. We'll talk about the roadmap for it whenever they announce that as well. So lots more Predator videos coming very, very soon. Okay, make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed, have that bell icon turned on, and I will see you all on the next video.